Good morning and welcome to the DFS YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 24th of August. It is Saturday. We do have, looks like three slates actually, but we're going to skip over the two gamer on DraftKings. Take a quick look at the five gamer and then the 7 game main slate. As always, I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you are on FanDuel, I would cut my pool into a half or even a third, depending, just because, scoring system slightly different, and then obviously the pricing isn't quite as tight. So let's just dig in right away. I haven't seen anything about any weather, so we can just look at some pitching for what it is. At the top, we get Blake Snell, who's actually a slight underdog, but he's been throwing the ball phenomenally. Slight hiccup after his no hitter, and he still was pretty strong. He's been great since. Double-digit strikeouts in 4 out of his last 5 starts. 8+ strikeouts in 6 of his last 7. Throwing a ton of pitches. This is the guy that we thought we'd get with Tampa Bay if they ever let him, throw more than 85, 90 pitches. But big thing is he's controlling the walks. Super interesting. Game total of just 6.5 in this one. K-prop sitting at 8.5 with juice on the over even. We know Seattle strikes out a ton, so ton of K upside for Blake Snell. Imanaga against a weak Miami squad. Pretty easy choice to go there. -205 favorite. Was solid against Miami the first time he faced them. Has not been as good from a fantasy point perspective on the road. Strikeouts go down, but still, definitely have to be interested in Imanaga in this spot. Framber Valdez against a somewhat struggling Baltimore offense. I'm definitely going to be interested. He is the favorite. He's -122 favorite right now. K-prop of 5.5 with juice on the over. I definitely put him behind, Snell, Imanaga, and maybe even Kirby, just because obviously we know what that Baltimore offense can do. Kirby's going to be in play. Hasn't been the sharpest overall in the second half, but still super low total. He is favored over Blake Snell. Not overly afraid of the San Francisco offense at this point. Guy I might consider here is Valente Beloso. Not somebody I've talked about, but he's looked pretty good. The issue is he doesn't have a ton of K upside, but the ability to put up, mid-20s fantasy points is what we look for, and he has done it. Like I mentioned, the Cubs are a pretty strong favorite in that game, so he's more of a sprinkle in along with these top 4 guys for me. Colin Ray, another guy I'm going to sprinkle in just because he's taking on Oakland. He can get blown up, but then, he's 27+ in 2 out of his last 3. So, outlier 9Ks, 8Ks here. I think he's more of a 5-6K guy, but Oakland does have some strikeouts in their lineup. His K prop is just 4.5 with juice on the over, and he is a -130 favorite. I probably would slide him ahead of Beloso, but I think Beloso actually offers some intriguing upside, like I mentioned. So there's kind of the 6 guys, I guess, from this slate that I would be considering in my pool. Let's take a look here at the main slate. We get Terry Skubal. There is some talk about them possibly being limited a little bit or just getting extra rest. He does get an extra day of rest coming into this start against the worst team in baseball. I don't believe that they're going to limit his actual outings. I think they're just going to give him some extra rest, like I mentioned. So he's a -230 favorite. Going to be all about Skubal in the spot. Michael King has been pretty good. Plenty of upside. Not the greatest matchup for him, to be honest, but I think he's worth considering. He is a -155 favorite. Game total just 7.5 with juice on the under in San Diego. K prop of 6.5 with juice on the over. So a lot of things pointing towards King tonight. So I want to sprinkle him in for sure. Um, Kind of depends on how the rest of the pool comes together as this first look builds out. Sonny Gray started the season phenomenally. Some hiccups, couple good starts to start August. The last two not the greatest. Taking on his former squad. To be honest, I think he has a little chip on his shoulder in this matchup. I think he felt a little disrespected by not getting a decent contract extension offer last season from the Twins. Uh, One big issue though is he has not been very good on the road this season. But can that be counteracted with the fact that he pitched in Minnesota all of last season? Possibly. Um, K prop of 6.5 juices on the under. I'm interested. He is a slight dog. Minnesota's a minus 142 favorite, but he's somebody I think I want to get in and get exposure to just because of that revenge factor. Um, and he can certainly drop a 30, and I would not be shocked. Suarez in his return. I would guess workload restrictions, like they mentioned here. No rehab start, so I'm going to skip over Ranger Suarez. Plus, Kansas City's offense has been a little bit more dangerous. Pablo Lopez against St. Louis. His performances are all over the place this season. Um, Not really the season I thought we'd get out of Pablo Lopez with the Twins, but he is favored, like I mentioned when talking about Sonny Gray. I'm going to want to use him. K prop 5.5 juice on the over. Volatile, but somebody I need to keep in my pool. Charlie Morton, it seems like every time I play him, he gets blown up by a team like Washington. Washington has destroyed him twice this season. Um, I'm still going to go back. I hesitated here as I was thinking about it, but I am going to go back to Charlie Morton. Maybe it's me just being dumb. K prop of 5.5 with you strongly on the over, which feels like an aggressive number considering Washington generally hasn't been a team that strikes out a ton. But they are playing a lot more younger guys, so maybe that has something to do with it. He is a minus 180 favorite, so I think we're just going to slide him in and hope everything works out. Clayton Kershaw against a team in Tampa Bay that I've been picking on with pitching does give up hits this season at home so far. Obviously, very small sample size, but still, K numbers are all over the place. A little bit of a worry there. Kind of limits his upside, but he is a minus 205 home favorite. K prop of 5.5, just slightly on the under, but a 5 to 6K performance over 5, 6 innings. I think he has the ability to get us 27, 28 fantasy points in this spot. Taj Bradley, somebody I love playing. I just can't do it. K numbers are down, walks are up recently, home runs, and it's the Dodgers. I'm just going to pass. Um, I need Taj Bradley to throw a gem really for final weekend of round two of best ball. Um, Not the best matchup for him to have for me if I'm going to rely on him. So that's a little frustrating. I don't really want to double down and include his volatility in the spot in my DFS pool. Peterson is intriguing, even though San Diego doesn't strike out a ton. He's been throwing the ball really well. Like I mentioned, game total just 7.5 with juice on the under in this game. His K prop's just 4.5 with juice on the under as well. But I think he's somebody I want to sneak in a few shares of. I'm not expecting a dominant performance by any means, but I think he can be solid enough to get us an SP2 number. I will obviously be stacking San Diego. Jake Irvin. This is one that intrigues me just based on the fact that he's absolutely dominated against Atlanta this season. He's been at his best when on the road. Uh, 12 innings, just 6 hits allowed, 0 runs, 14 strikeouts against Atlanta this season. Now he's not throwing the ball overly well right now, and it's been a while since he's He's had a really strong start, um, but I do want to mix him in just because of the success that he has had against this Atlanta team. K prop of 4.5 juices on the over. I think he's worth a sprinkle. Um, Probably even slightly better than Peterson, just because I don't know that Peterson has the K matchup upside. But sprinkling these two guys along with Kershaw and Morton, and then going pretty heavy here at the top, seems like the route. Um, Ben Lively, a guy that's had some pretty solid starts, might be viable, just because he's a reverse splits guy. But I mean, that's still tough against a team that has Semien, Adalis Garcia, Wyatt Langford, Josh Young. Um, that might be tough to get to. K prop's just 3.5 with juice strongly on the over. He is a minus 130 favorite though, so I can see people sprinkling him in. Um, I'm not sure if I'm going to get there. Maybe I will, and just kind of 10% each of these guys down here, and just hope that we get it right. Maybe 10 to 15%, I guess, at this point. But there we have it. There's a first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And if you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.